Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Aether. Welcome to 2022, Year of Tiger. The powerful year, right? And so today's topic, a whole new you in 2022. Everybody wants that, new you and new us, and powerful, successful, happy year, right? Everybody's hoping for that, but being realistic, how to get that? That's a totally different thing, right? Thinking about this, a goal and achieving goal is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But so today we're going to talk about how to achieve goals. And so it's not like other years, and we make New Year's resolution and then we give up and back to same old year been happening for so many years, right? New Year's resolution. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
Not so much. I've got the things I've been already working on. So if I put another one in there, it's going to get a little crowded. So mine are already there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so just keep.
I just keep on rocking. Yeah.
Like I don't have New Year's resolution. Maybe it's a good time to set a goal, right? And I haven't had this habit making New Year's resolution. I don't really do that. Like I used to do it when I was a kid, school kid, and teachers said, "Okay, what's your New Year's resolution? Let's write it down." Right? Why you have to tell me that I have to have goals?
Would it be nicer to your brother? That would be a good one.
I was a little bit like whatever kind of kid. So okay, I'm gonna write something, but not really my goals. And I was pretending I was having a New Year's resolution. So yeah, I'm not good example.
If you're pretending, you can't fail at it. There's an advantage there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. There's something there.
There's something there that I can learn from myself.
Yeah.
But anyway, lots of people have New Year's resolution, right? It's a good time, January, starting the new year. But the thing is, the fact is, 80% of people, right? 80% of people give up New Year's resolution by second week of February. So in a month and a little over a month, 80% of people just forget it. Right? That's pretty big.
That's
number.
Intense, and that's it's unfortunate because it kind of reinforces for people the idea that change is hard, right? And yes, there are challenges to it. It's not like it's just a walk in the park. But there's real reasons for that, and we're going to talk more about that as we get later into the show here.
It's like everybody gets excited, right? And New Year's, this year is going to be different.
Yes,
right?
yes, and we all hope for that, right? 2021 was not the greatest year, like 2020, right? They're both, right? And we all know why, but so we're all looking forward to a better outcome this year, and that's completely understandable.
And then we know it's up to us, like set the New Year's resolution and achieving goal. It's up to us. It's not like you're waiting for a miracle to happen to you. It's not realistic. So we all know that, but it can be very hard, hard for at least 80% of people, right? And
the other 20%, they're not necessarily achieving their goal, unfortunately.
It's just
that's just by that time.
By February, beginning of February, 80% of people give up, and after that, I don't know, like more than 90% of people probably give up on New Year's resolution, right? Only few, small percentage of people actually achieve the goal, and that's kind of sad, but we know we can change it,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then we know you can change it. So we're gonna share some tips, so we can.
I'm playing with technology here. You gotta forgive me.
So yeah, we can change. We can really change this year, and then so we can achieve the goals, and then New Year's resolution we can follow through, and we can get there, right?
So how do we do that, right? So the question is, what's the difference between succeeding at achieving your goals or not succeeding, right? So what, and that's what we're going to talk about here. I mean, it's one of the biggest things that we run into is that, like, we pick a goal because it's something that we've had trouble with, right? And one of the biggest reasons that people are not succeeding at that goal is because they're actually fighting the flow of life, right? And that, so what you're doing then, basically, you're trying to paddle upstream from where life is wanting you to go, right? I mean, it's our philosophy that life is an opportunity, right? Not a problem. And what that means is that, yes, we can't get to a certain goal for some reason. So, well, what is it? What's the reason for that? And go underneath it instead of just continuing to fight and try harder. Just doing that, trying harder, is not really the best strategy. And I think that's a big part of that 80% of people that drop out, is because they're just trying harder, right? They're saying, I'm going to do it this year, right? And that's just trying harder. Well, have a strategy. That's what our recommendation is. The number one is a strategy. So what is that strategy? And part of it is letting life show you the way, right?
Instead of just focusing on going upstream, sometimes just let yourself flow, and the current might lead you to some different path that you didn't see before, and that might be the way to achieve that goal, right?
Yeah, it seems like a direct line. We always think a direct line, straight and narrow, right to where you want to get to, is the way to go. And that's actually really what in life is achievable just by a straight line, right? You can't even get to the grocery store that way, right? If I go in a straight line to the grocery store, I'm just going to hit the wall, right? Or I'm going to end up in the neighbor's, living room or something, right? You got to go around, and that's what we're talking about here, is letting life show you the way instead of just banging your head against the wall. You let life point the direction to get there, and it seems like it's not in the right direction at first.
Sometimes you feel like you are going sidetrack or going off track, or you feel like you're going backwards, but that might be the way to achieve the goal, right? Be open-minded, be flexible, right? Those are some key points, right? Because you have a goal, setting a goal because you haven't been able to achieve, because it's been hard, right? If it's easy, you wouldn't set that as a goal, right? And something you've been wanting to have, but then it's been hard. That becomes a goal, and yes, that's a great thing to have as a goal, but there's things to come with that goal, right? Because you've been fighting, and then you are right, and this is not really a way, sometimes not a way to move forward, right?
Yeah. And then and people get frustrated, and we get that, right?
Yeah.
That's completely
Yeah,
understandable.
we've been there.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. Yeah. And so what is that all about? Because you're not getting you're not achieving that goal in the way that you wanted, in the time that you wanted, right? So we're talking about adapting and letting life show us the way. So I one of the things that people learn then is that life is frustrating, life is hard, right? And it is that really true? It's like we're saying, we look at life as an opportunity rather than as a problem, and that's a very different thing, right? So you can be presented with the same issues, right? The same challenges, or you might consider a temporary obstacle or something like that. You can look at it that way. But if you make that into a problem, then that's the way you're looking at the world, as problems, right? And that's a very big deal. It's a very common way of looking at the world, as just a bunch of problems that you've got to solve to get through the day, right?
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Yeah, I can. I mean, and I love to problem solve, right?
Yeah.
So my thinking mind loves to problem solve, right?
Like you used to software development,
Yeah,
right?
and scientists
So,
for that.
and
So
then
yeah, kind of.
your job is look for problem, right?
Yeah.
What's the problem here? Is there any more problems? And you finding problems and solve the
That
problem.
was literally my job.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And like it's working fine, and to me it's like working fine. But no, then if there's one problem, then I'm failing. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So that was the.
That's really weird, right?
Exactly.
It's so weird. That was my psychology. Is that like somebody's going to build some kind of software, right? I have to imagine all the possible problems first, right? And then come up with a way of testing for those problems. So I'm like literally painting the whole world as a problem in front of me all day long, right? So
and then that's if it's just at your work and with computer, that's fine. But it becomes a worldview.
Yeah,
And
which it did.
Living your life day by day at home, and you're doing the same thing, right? And everything's working fine, and there must be a problem. Oh, this is a problem. I have to solve it, right?
And that's exactly what happened. And she gave me so much, you know.
Oh yeah.
You gave me some feedback on that. Let's put it that way. Yeah, relationships, right? You know.
I'm so glad that you passed that point and you changed your worldview, and it's not the problem.
It took a little doing, but yeah,
opportunity. And so it's like opportunity. If you see it as an opportunity, same thing happens, but it's a problem, then it's frustrating, and
it's negative. It's automatically negative.
Yeah, you get angry. Why does that have to happen, right? But if you think it as an opportunity, and then you are being grateful, automatically you switching, right? And being grateful, and then you can move forward. If you are thinking, oh, this is problem, you just your energy changes.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you're tensed up, and then the energy,
Stressed out,
and the
anxiety,
heavy energy. Right?
All that stuff.
But
Anger,
but just switch into okay, this is opportunity, then great gratitude comes up, right? And then your body and energy actually expand, and then your power comes out.
Yes.
To
yes, it does.
deal with
Absolutely.
those things, right? It's just one switch, problem to opportunity, and then your powerful self can come out, right?
And so what you're talking about really is a perspective, right? It's a worldview that we're talking about. It's a very common worldview to look at things as a problem, but is that helpful? That's the question we should be asking, right? Is it helpful? Do we like our thinking mind thinks, strategically and thinks, well, yeah, of course it's helpful because then I know how to fix it, right? Well, yeah, but all that other stuff comes along with it, all that other baggage, right? So maybe you can figure out a way to fix it, but you're getting all that other baggage, that negative baggage, that frustration, that anxiety and stress, right? And what does that do?
Yeah.
And what does that do? That anxiety and that stress, that narrows your vision, like your tunnel vision, right? So basically you become zeroed in and obsessed with what is now a problem, a negative. You become obsessed with the negative.
And then you're living in that world of problem.
Yes.
Right.
And that you cannot help it. Honestly, there is no way to avoid what we're talking about here if the way that we approach the world is as a problem, and that we can fix it. Yes, we can be smart and we can be clever and we can figure out a solution, but that's not the only way to come up with solutions. It's funny how that doesn't occur to that never occurred to me, honestly. It never occurred to me for so many years that there was maybe another way to come up with solutions other than looking at it as fixing a problem, right? Because the other way of looking at for solutions is, like we were saying, as an opportunity. So what does that mean, right? What are we talking about? Well, that situation, it's difficult, right? Like, let's say we're frustrated because the house is always dirty, right? And we want to have a clean house, right?
It's not that dirty. But anyway,
It's a little lived in. It's a little lived in the house. 4 kids, right? We've got a cat, so it's a little lived in. But it takes a little adapting, right? So if I'm being my perfectionist self, I would think, it's always dirty, and it's a problem I gotta solve, right? So I can look at it that way, or I can look at it as an opportunity and think, okay, so then what is it that I can learn from this? There's a big one right there, right? What can I learn from the situation? One is I can learn to let go of control, right? Because the desire to have an obsession with having that clean house is that you've got to control your environment. You got to control your world, right? And I've got to control the people they're living with me, the whole family, and tell them what to do all the time.
Coming back from snow and all boots are covered with snow.
Yeah, we've got snow, a lot of snow right now.
Coming in the doorway is just a mess, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how often they clean, it's just the puddles, right? And then just dirt and
So they've got that problem, right? So I can look at it that way, or I can look at it as an opportunity. So I can, as an opportunity to release control is one of the main things there, right? And then we can work together to find a level of tidiness or in the house that's workable, so that we can still live in the house and enjoy it, enjoy living here, and not be always
frustrated.
Not me being frustrated with it not being perfect, and the kids being resentful for me telling them what to do all the time.
Yeah, they don't want to be controlled.
No,
they, like as soon as you have to do this, you have to do this.
Yeah,
right?
Take out the garbage, right? I don't want to do that.
But if you're letting go of the frustration and then controlling mind, and then just want to have clean house and clean doorway, and just approaching the kids, everybody with that energy. Hey, it's kind of mess here. Let's clean up a bit, and they are fine, right?
The weird thing is that when we don't tell the kids what to do, they actually do it on their own, right? That won't happen with everybody, and not every kid, right, or not every family. It doesn't happen that way necessarily, but that has happened with our kids because we don't do that heavy, controlling stuff, right? But like, even if it is a little bit dirty, right? So what is the goal? What is my actual goal? Because if I step back and I don't have to have the perfect clean house, right? if I step back and ask, what's the opportunity here, letting go of control. And I can also ask, what is my real goal? Is my real goal to have a perfectly clean house? Because what comes along with that is everybody's unhappy, right? in my world,
being controlled,
trying to control them, right?
So
right?
they feel controlled.
Is that what I really want, or do I want a place that I enjoy living in? Is that my? Wait a minute! Whoa, whole different goal, right? Oh my God, blow my mind! I don't have to have control. I don't have to have a clean house to be happy. A place, I just want a place that I'm happy living in. So the people around me are happy, for one. And I can let go of that control. I don't need everything to be all in its place, right? The place isn't, a disaster, but is it like, magazine ready, magazine photo shoot ready? No, but who cares, right? There's a happy medium that we found, right? And it works. It works beautifully because I did that. I went through that process, right? So I learned to let life teach me, and that's what you helped me with, right? And that's such a big deal. That's a perspective change that's so important, is where you start with your goals, right? And what is it that what is your actual goal there, right? Because if you asked me beforehand, I would have said I want a clean house, right? Because it's driving me nuts, right? Because I'm looking at it as a problem. But if I look at it as an opportunity, it completely changes my real goal. I actually figure out what my real goal is, because my real goal isn't necessarily to have a clean suit, a magazine photo shoot ready house, right? It's to have a place I enjoy living in. That's what I really want. Something that I feel rewarded and welcome in, right? I want to be welcome in my home.
But you thought back then, you thought to be happy, living happily, I have to have clean house.
Yeah,
that's what
I thought before.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's actually it was different. So happy living, you thought it was equal to clean house, but wait, I can achieve happy living without having perfectly spotless clean house. Right? You are achieving the same goal.
No, it's actually it's a better goal. I'm achieving. I'm achieving happiness, right? Is really my goal there. I'm a home that I'm happy living in, and a family I'm happy living with. But that didn't even occur to me when I'm setting my first goal of looking at it as a problem. I don't even, because that's what we mean, is that tunnel vision comes in. If you're stressed out and obsessed with it being a problem,
this is not clean. This is not clean.
You don't even see those other things, right? You don't even see that there's a much bigger picture. That I don't even see that I would frustrate everybody, that I would make them not, in a certain degree, not happy that I'm around. I'm just controlling them, telling them what to do, right? So so you expand your view, and you get it. It's having perspective is I would say the number one thing when setting your goals, and using that objective, that approach, where you're letting life teach you, show you the way to get where you want to go, then you're so much less likely to fail at achieving your goal, because now it's succeeded, right? Before I was frustrated. I did not get a clean house before, right? And I was frustrated. But if that was my New Year's resolution, I would have failed by February, probably long before.
If we get closer to achieving the goals, pick and span, clean house, you ended up unhappy kids. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
And they are like
but I wouldn't even that didn't even occur to me.
I'm not gonna go close to Paul because he's gonna ask me to do something. So I'm gonna stay away from him, right?
Yeah, but now I get smiles instead, right? Which is, it's a worthwhile trade-off. So, I mean, to me, that's the number one thing, is letting life show us the way, right? And there's so much more that you can go deeper on that, about letting life show you the way. I mean, nobody succeeds at everything you do, right? Relationships don't always work out. It's understandable that people think life can be disappointing. But if we succeeded at everything that we do, that's the way life worked, right? If you know, in some magical universe that we were in, that universe, it's not all that rewarding to always get what you want, right?
Then it becomes boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can get everything,
Yeah.
right? Then yeah.
So people think that getting what you want is what you really want. Is it? No, actually, it's not. It's funny that we don't get to that level of understanding, and I think it is because we look at the world as a problem, and we get zeroed in, and we don't look at the bigger picture. We don't consider the fact that if we did get everything that we wanted all the time, nothing would satisfy us. It would just be, what's the point of a life like that? Honestly, there's no challenge. There's no becoming something better than you were yesterday or or last year, right? I want to be a better person than I was in 2021, right? 2022, I welcome the challenges that come along as opportunities, right? And that's a rewarding life to live in that situation. It's not easy when those challenges don't work out. I would totally get it. I've been there a long time. Don't worry. I totally feel where you're coming from. When it's like when you opened up, right? There's another example. When you opened up, and before we got married, and we didn't know that you were a psychic, right? You had this uncanny sense of things, right? Somehow you figured stuff out. It's like, what? She's showing up at that exact time and saying that exact thing, but you didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about it that way. But then all of a sudden one day, you woke up that day and you could not function, right? I mean, that's a serious problem. Is it? Right? Is it a serious problem? Gotta be careful how we phrase this.
You can see it that way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I could easily end up in hospital, like a mental hospital, right?
Honestly, yes,
Right?
because it was so bad.
Yeah,
it was so hard on you to go through
it was
that.
so bad. I really wasn't functioning. I talked about this many times before, but and then really I was just barely surviving. I couldn't even want to get up in the morning. I was trying to get up in the morning in tears.
Nobody cries that much. Nobody. No. How did you have that much water in your body? I don't get it.
But
You don't drink that much water or tea or anything.
I didn't drink.
I know you drink tea, but not that much. You should have seen those buckets. I'm serious.
But so it was hard, and but I don't know. I was just literally surviving, and then at some point, okay, I have to do something here, because I cannot live my life like this, right, every day, and then we have to shift. And then, okay, I'm gonna face it. I don't know where I'm facing it, right? It's all darkness. I don't see light, but somehow I gotta face it, right? And then learn from whatever I'm having this. This is a lesson that I need to learn. This is a huge lesson. That harder you are feeling, the bigger the lesson, right? And then once you learn the lesson, whatever the lesson, bigger growth are waiting for you. I knew that. I knew that before, like the whole my life. I knew whatever difficulty happens, and I was welcoming. Thank you very much. I was so grateful, and for challenges to come. Challenges, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna face it and then receive it, and then so I can learn from it. I was like that whole my life, but when that happened, when I opened up all of a sudden, just overnight, I lost that. Oh my God, this is too much. And then the lesson, the hardship, this is like a way over the limit that I can take, right? I don't know how to do this. And I was just down deep in the darkness for a long,
You're in a very dark place.
long time.
And the reason is, like, she's opening up as a psychic, but you went through the path as being an empath. That was your path, to be an empath. Intuitive empath, clairvoyant, medium, all that stuff, right? Is like, and you were, as an empath, you were receiving everybody else's emotions, all from everywhere, all around. You were just like just wide open. And so from me, right, from everybody in the family, from the neighbors, from the town, everything, right,
from the other side of the world.
Sometimes, like, there was some news stories that were really hitting you, because that makes people across North America, if they get into a hard, if they're shocked, right, and they're afraid, or they're saddened, all of a sudden, there you were, right? You're receiving. But even like strong emotions like happiness was also, it was just too much, because you're so much already, right?
And then the thing is, that happened because I was actually avoiding to face it for all my life.
It happened, just like opened up, you mean?
Yeah,
the way that it did.
The way it
and
did.
It just got dumped on you.
Yeah, because I was avoiding to connect to my psychic ability, and I was pushing it away the whole my life. And then all of a sudden, my higher self, the guides, the universe said, that's it. You have to face it. You have to start using this, right? And then boom, and oh my God, it was huge. But and finally I decided to face it. I went into to learn about psychic ability and how to use it, right? And how to deal with all those overwhelming stuff. And that I didn't want to touch it. Like, since I was a kid, I was avoiding 100%.
It's funny because you thought psychics were like, flaky and fake, or like
there's some are like that too, right? Like, and you see in the movies.
It's so ironic.
So like you see on the show, TV, in the movies, and then fake psychic doing this and that, right? And I have those images, and I was subconsciously I was scared to connect. And I don't want to connect, and I was avoiding all my life. And then the universe said, that's it, no more avoiding, you gotta face it. Right? And then boom.
I'm so glad you're smiling and laughing about it now. It's such a huge transition.
Yeah, but anyway, and then I faced it, and I took it as a lesson, the biggest lesson in my life. And then,
in other words, as an opportunity. Right?
It's a lesson, and it's an opportunity for me to learn and grow.
Because you could have been, because just to tie it into what we were saying earlier, you could have been so frustrated because you had that problem landed on your lap, right? You could not function. You could not even get up and answer the door, right? If you wanted to, you couldn't. You barely could get off of the bed, right? You were done. From the moment you woke up, you were done. But you gradually were able to work through it, right? But so you took it as an opportunity, as a lesson, and
here I am. I learned how to deal with this overwhelming energy that I'm receiving, and I use I start to learn how to use this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here I am. I'm working with clients using my ability,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the hardship gave me the opportunity to open up my authentic self.
Because you could have given up,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of opportunities for you to give up
Mm-hmm.
because you were so overwhelmed and
Mm-hmm.
everything was so hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
For so long,
Mm-hmm.
it took a long time for you to get through that,
Yeah.
but you didn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? You made the choice to keep
Mm-hmm.
going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to work through it. And now the rewards are
Mm-hmm.
that you're able to connect with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to help them
Mm-hmm.
with their goals, with their to heal,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not only have you been able to heal yourself
Mm-hmm.
through that process,
Mm-hmm.
but you're
I
also
can
able.
witness other people heal.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
it's like a
You're there to facilitate the process of them healing themselves.
Mhm.
It's
So
them
they
healing
can
themselves
their
in the end,
selves.
but you're there to provide to help convey the messages from their higher self,
Mm-hmm.
from their guides, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is, and that's literally what you're doing is when you're conveying those messages from their from their guides
Mm-hmm.
about what they're facing, their clients.
Mm-hmm.
They come to you, they've got a problem,
Mhm.
they don't know what to do, they don't know how to get past an issue,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. You convey a message to them. Literally, what you're doing is you're indicating to them that life is pointing them in
Mm-hmm.
in a little different way, right? So that instead of fighting life, if
Mhm.
there's another opportunity over here,
Mm-hmm.
if you just shift your energy over this way, shift your perspective a little bit, look at it this, maybe try looking at it this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message that you're getting, right?
Mhm.
You don't. I know that Satomi doesn't come up with this stuff on her own. You're just conveying messages all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's literally what you're doing, is facilitating that process of people letting life show them the way,
Mm-hmm.
letting life indicate how to get to their goals,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then possibly other goals open up in that process.
Mhm.
So they come to you because they got something that they need to get past, and something they want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
You say, over here there's a side door, instead of running into the wall.
Yeah,
There's a hidden behind the curtain over here. There's a side door. If you just go behind the curtain,
So
side
like
door.
clients, I connect to clients and higher self and spirit guides, right? And then I receive those sometimes images and the words, whatever energy, and then so I share those messages with clients. I'm receiving this, and how about looking at this way, and then client, oh, right, okay, yeah, and that makes sense. And I was focusing on here, and I felt stuck, but actually, yeah, there's a way. This way too. There's a path too. It's a possibility, right? Those kind of thing, and then they can open up and be open-minded again. Instead of a tunnel vision, they can open up, and then once they open up, get out of tunnel vision, their true self, authentic self, start to come out again.
So then they're coming out of that perspective of looking at the situation as a problem. They're starting to engage it as an opportunity, because they're seeing that side door lead somewhere, right? And then leads outside of the building. It's, oh my God, and your perspective can open up, and you're not so stressed and anxious and tunnel visioned, and you're opening up to possibilities, right? And then with that, then they're able to see that this path leads somewhere, that it's helpful. This is, I'm getting somewhere now, right? I'm moving forward, and I'm getting towards a new place, and this is great, right? And that leads to their goal, or other goals that they've never even thought of before, just like me, right? With the cleaning the house, right? So yeah, it's a beautiful process, and you let life show you the way, and you're helping others let them help them to to see that there's another way, to let life show them the way. Their
Yeah,
way, right?
and it's more like a connect, helping them to remember how to connect, so they can get out of being stuck, right? And everybody have this power and wisdom, but they forget.
That's the thing, yeah, is one of the things that is remarkable is how much power each person has within them. We're like we're these absolute mysteries inside. We think of ourselves as ordinary, right? We're kind of taught that science has everything figured out. I was a scientist, so yeah. There's another story, but and everything is ordinary. It's random. There's no meaning behind it. All that kind of stuff is dull. It's and that's a common perspective. But in actuality, there's this going on, right? So what is that, right? There's something to this about life having this. It's like this place that we come to have this opportunity to grow, right? And to become something more than we were, right? And that's why it's beautiful to have goals, right? For us to want to to achieve, to be more than we are, to grow, right? All that stuff. It's a beautiful process.
Because we have so much unlimited room to improve.
It's actually beyond imagining. I have no idea what we're capable of, what I'm capable of, what anyone's capable of. You didn't, right? You didn't know that you could do all the things you're doing, right? And the thing is, it's not like you're like this, one of a kind, right? Everyone is psychic. Every single person has their intuition. Everyone has a gut feeling. Everyone has this, I just had this coincidence. It's really uncanny, right? All that stuff. That's all your intuition. That's that's your psychic ability. We all have that as part of our inner power, right? And the thing is, the world right now, I mean, we were talking earlier about 2020 and 2021 not being the greatest years, excuse me. But there's all this pressure on us, right? All this, everybody's being pushed. There's this kind of influence on us to push us into this place of fear, right? And what does that fear do? It's like that anxiety and the tunnel and the stress, and it creates that tunnel vision, and we lose our perspective, and we lose. We look at everything. We look at the world situation as a problem. What if we looked at it as an opportunity? What if we looked at this situation that the world is in right now as an opportunity instead of a problem? I know people are suffering, and my heart goes out to them. I know people who have, suffered terribly because of what's going on. So I'm not making little of that, but there's a big picture here. It's all the whole world, right? And there's a lot of people, and if we look at this as a problem, then we end up kind of, from my point of view, we kind of bang our heads against the wall, right? We're not able to do what we used to be able to do. We can't get back to normal, right? Can't get back to what's normal, kind of ordinary, kind of looking at things as random and not meaningful necessarily, that kind of stuff, right? Well, what if it's an opportunity? What if we engage this as an opportunity in our lives to bring out the best in ourselves somehow, to engage our inner power, right? What if we did that, right? And what instead, and then maybe as collectively, as humanity, could move forward and develop our intuition, our psychic abilities, possibly, right? I know I'm sounding a little bit woo-woo with this stuff, but in a very practical sense, if we look at it as an opportunity for us to grow as people and be better people, if you want to look at it that way, maybe it's an opportunity for us to value relationships, right? And to let go of some things that used to hang us up, right? Like, that we weren't getting our way or something like that, or somebody was, said something mean about us in the past or something like that. Maybe we can let that stuff go, right? And look at people, as fellows together, right? In this, right? Then that's an opportunity for us to grow, right?
Yeah, and then let's go back to the goal setting and achieving goals, right? So one thing is changing perspective, so setting a goal, and that's growing, right? And being a better person. That's why everybody's setting a goal and having a New Year's resolution. And then, like we said, 80% of people give up by beginning of February, the New Year's resolution, right? So here's a tips that we can achieve those goals that once you set New Year's resolution, and how to achieve this, right?
Absolutely.
So let's get into those tips.
Yeah.
So start with
one thing that we can do is to use SMART goals, right? So when you are setting your goals, to be what SMART is, it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So specific, you want to be. So let's say,
like you want to lose weight, or you want to have you want to renovate the house, right? And I don't know, you want to make $1 million this year. There's lots of goals that you can have.
Just have more fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So specific, like I want to lose weight. It's not specific enough, right?
Right.
And then renovate the house. If you think in the whole house, it can be overwhelming, right? Just always, I have to do so much. And that overwhelming feeling makes you want to quit, right? And I want to lose 20 pounds. It looks so far away. And then that can give you overwhelming feeling, and that you don't want to stay there. You don't want to feel overwhelmed, and you want to be free from the overwhelming feeling. That's why you give up, right? And so specific, it's more yes, losing weight, but losing how much weight, right?
Yeah.
And make it small.
Yeah.
Right? Is that specific? Right? Making it small, like at 20 pounds, but it's kind of far away. So make it a small goal.
Like 4
pounds.
Make it 4 pounds instead of 20, right?
Then, so
and then measurable means like it's measurable. You can measure your weight, right? And then achievable. So like you're saying, instead of 20, right? Or real, and then that's the A is the achievable, and then realistic is the R, and realistic. So is that 20 realistic? Well, maybe not. But four is definitely realistic, right? And time based is the T in SMART, right? And that means to lose it by a certain date, right? Like so maybe within a month, right?
In 30 days, right?
So 1 pound a week, right?
But up and down, that's okay. Allow up and down, but at the end of the month, if you lose 4 pounds, that's great, and that's first goal, right? Instead of overall big goal, have small goal. First goal is 4 pounds in 1 month, and next goal another 4 pounds, or you can have different numbers, right? And then renovation, instead of thinking the whole house renovation, maybe start with just one corner of the one room, right?
Like maybe your desk or something,
just
right?
tidy up the room and make an extra shelf, and hey, this is done.
Yeah.
Right? It's achievable instead of being overwhelmed looking at the whole house. I have to do this, right? Just one small, specific, and achievable
Mhm.
goal.
Mhm.
And then once you achieve that goal, next one, right?
Yeah.
Next 4 pounds or next corner of the house, I
Mhm.
want to do this, and just focus on
Mhm.
that one. Then you don't overwhelm yourself. That's important part,
Mhm.
right? Overwhelming and frustrating, and then you want, of course you want to quit, of course you don't want to stay frustrated and overwhelmed, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why lots of people, 80% of people quit in
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah. It's just not a practical approach to your goal setting, then you're kind of setting yourself up to fail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also judging yourself by not doing it, that's huge.
Yes.
Right? Like trying to lose 4 pounds, and then you lose 2 pounds in first week,
Mhm.
and then you gain 1 pound next week,
Mhm.
and I'm not doing it, right? I was doing exercise, I was eating well, but I gained 1 pound. And then you are hard on yourself and judging yourself that you can't do it, right? Let go of that, right? And that's just fighting, going upstream instead of flowing
Yeah.
along,
Yeah.
right?
You're being your own enemy if you judge yourself, kind of by definition, right? Yeah.
So just letting go of your own judgment and other people's judgment, right? And you feel other people's judgment, even they're not judging you. Sometimes you can create inside you. Other people might be thinking that way, and they are thinking that way, right? You can just keep going, and then the judgment is huge. So letting go of judgment, be nice to yourself, and being a cheerleader for yourself instead of enemy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and if it gets to that point where you don't succeed, right? If you don't manage to lose 4 pounds, right? Then if you skip the self judgment, you can start working on an adapted approach, right? You can go for a second round, right? It's not like, oh my God, I failed. I always fail, right? That kind of stuff. Is that stuff helpful? Not really, right? So sticking with what's helpful, right? And judging yourself is certainly not.
Yeah. Is that helpful, judging yourself?
Yeah.
Ask that question.
Yeah. And we'll come back again in a minute about that second round, right? If it doesn't work on that first round, right? Just that strategy didn't work, adjust it, we'll try again with an adjusted strategy, right? And you get places that way. Yeah. And this is a little bit similar to the SMART goal stuff we were talking about, but it's worth emphasizing that small is beautiful, right? That one corner of the room, right? Or the 4 pounds or whatever it is, right? Working on something that's very practical is a much better approach, and then you can keep going, right?
And celebrate yourself.
Yeah.
Once you achieve that small goal, celebrate instead of looking, oh, I have more to do. Then you are automatically pressuring yourself and failing in a way that you haven't done this much. But hey, look at yourself, you've done this much, right? From 0 to you move forward and you did 1, that's worth celebration, right? So celebrate yourself and appreciate yourself's hard work, and then next small goal, right? And set the next small goal and focus on that instead of looking at 20 pounds. I still have 17 pounds to go, and then you are back in overwhelming.
Well, you got to avoid playing little mental tricks on yourself, right? Like if you're saying, okay, I'll do 4 in the first month, but the real goal you're setting yourself as for success is 20 because you're counting on continuing going, right? Don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Just get through the one, right, in the first week and celebrate that. Get through another one in the second week and celebrate that, right? And that's you're done. You've achieved something right there at that point. So celebrate that, and then think about your next goal. But it's a new goal, right?
Yeah.
It's a new one, not the original real goal that you set for yourself and judge yourself if you don't get there, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and celebrating yourself. This is very, very important. We don't do this often, not enough, right? And then, of course, we have big goals, and then always more and more and more to do, and then we always look ahead, and I have to do this, and then there's no time to celebrate. And what you're doing is that you subconsciously you are not achieving your goal, right? And then subconsciously you're telling yourself that you cannot achieve the goal, but celebrating small achievements, and then you're telling yourself, yes, I did it, and I finished it, I achieved the goal, and then you are programming subconscious mind that you are successful.
Yeah, we have a video about that actually.
Right?
Celebrating is a way of programming yourself subconsciously for success. So celebrating all the little things, little stuff that you do in the day, just even if they're not related directly to your goal. If you're celebrating the fact that you were on time for work, right? I made it. Yes. I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
So just doing that and feeling that excitement and achieving, yes, I achieved my goal, right? Just being safe, right? I turn the corner without hitting somebody or without getting yelled, or like right now without slipping, right? And yes, right? It's silly, it sounds silly, but you are programming your subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is huge. We keep telling this, it's 95% of your whole life, whole mind is subconscious, right? And just by programming your subconscious mind and telling your subconscious mind you are achiever and you are successful, and then it's again your whole self expands, and then it's like a unlimited power it's coming out, right? And then you can move forward and get just so many different things, and it in so many different ways, and that subconscious mind that you're achiever, it works, it comes out here and there, and then you can move forward, you can it motivate yourself, right? And it's so powerful. So celebrating your smart achievement.
Yeah, you can watch that video on our YouTube channel, on our Sakuso YouTube channel. That video on celebrating yourself as a way of programming your subconscious mind.
We'll add that into description too. Yeah.
And speaking of subconscious mind, well, we have just published, we just launched last night, January 1st.
Yay.
We got it done. We launched a course. Right? It's actually two that are related. It's a Masterclass on muscle testing, or like applied kinesiology. Same thing, right? So basically, what's going on there is a lot of the, like you mentioned, like 95% of your mind power is subconscious, right? The big part of the reason why people don't achieve their goals is because of subconscious blocks, right? There's
that we don't know,
that we don't even know about, because that's by definition, subconscious is what's underneath our consciousness, what we're not aware of, right? So, and 95% of our consciousness is outside of our conscious awareness, which is crazy, right? So, and there's so much power in that. It controls our whole bodies, it controls our lives, it controls our healing, it controls so much about us, ourselves. Controls even what genes are activated and which ones are not. This is epigenetics, right? You can check out Bruce Lipton. He's got brilliant work on this stuff. But it relates directly to your goal achievement, right? So if your goal is to relax more, your subconscious mind, if you're wanting to relax, it's probably because you're not relaxed or you're stressed out, then your subconscious mind is what's telling you to get stressed, and there's a reason for that. A lot of times there's an experience you've been through. Maybe it's a traumatic experience a long time ago in your life. It can actually even be carried over from a past life, and this kind of trauma or heavy, important experiences in our lives. We can create these subconscious programs, and those subconscious programs run our lives. So we've got this muscle testing masterclass that we created, and the link's right there, psychoso.ca/shop, and there's a free introductory portion, and then there's the advanced portion that are there for people.
10 videos.
It's a total of 10 videos, and it's everything you want to know about exploring your subconscious, about finding those blocks that have been preventing you from achieving your goals, right?
So knowing subconscious, connecting to your subconscious, and you can find the blocks. Once you find the blocks, and then you can move forward. The blocks that you didn't even know that you have, right?
That's the old G.I. Joe motto. Right, from cartoons. All the guys out there will know what I'm talking about. G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. That's what he says, right? Knowing is half the battle, and it's true. So knowing what the blocks are is half of what you need to achieve, half of what you need in order to get past them.
Yeah, because something it's hard to achieve, right? Not easy to achieve. When it's easy, your subconscious and conscious mind are aligned, and then it's easy. For other people, it's not easy, but for you, it's oh, this is easy, right? And how can you do that so easily, right? Then your subconscious mind and conscious mind are aligned, and you are using 100% of your mind power.
When it's easy.
It's easy. When it's hard, subconscious mind and conscious mind aren't aligned.
You have different goals. So you might have a conscious goal going this way, your subconscious mind has a goal going that way. It's going to be really hard to get where you want to go. Right? So hard. You trying, and then it's not working, and you give up. Okay, this year I'm going to do it and try hard. No, it's not working. That's subconscious blocks that you're carrying, right? And then so finding out what are the blocks, it's very powerful. So check out those videos, Masterclass series. And then half the battle, you said? Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. So half job done.
And the other half, well, that's getting rid of them, and that's the next step, and you'll see what to do when you check out the masterclass. You can you can just reach out to us anytime for a free session, right? To schedule a session to help work through those things, right? That's because that's what we do. So come back next Sunday. We're going to wrap it up here, I think. Yeah, it's good.
If anyone has any questions, you can leave questions in the comment. But if you don't have any questions, you can just
you can still leave stuff in the comments.
Afterwards.
Nice stuff. Just good stuff, huh?
So that's it for today. And Happy New Year. The best year ever that you're gonna have, right? And you can set your goals. So, and then follow those tips that would really help. And don't judge yourself. Right.
And like we were saying earlier, if your first strategy doesn't work, right, just use it as an opportunity to adapt, and then reach out to us, right, and then we're here for you to help you out with it. Maybe it's most likely a subconscious thing. Okay, so we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.